Hello everybody, this is the Critic. You know me from my and today we're going to count down our picks, or at least my pick, for the 10 weirdest facts or unknown facts about the console wars. To do this, I'm going to show scenes from 10 different Sonic games representing times. So this is the first fact, and the fact is that the SNES could have had backwards capabilities. Here's what I mean. For instance, the Sega Genesis had a backwards capability, which meant that you could play Sega Master System games on the Genesis. You know, it could do that. It's similar to how you can play PlayStation 1 games on a PlayStation 2. And the SNES could have had that, and if they did have it, the sales probably would have gone up a lot. But due to that, they didn't do it. Because of that, it ended up failing. Well, not really failing at launch, but it did worse than expected. Because the NES did so well, it hurt the market for the SNES when it first came out. So that was fact number one. And fact number two. Fact number two comes from Nintendo's side. I don't know why I didn't get footage from a Mario game, but oh well. This is from A Link to the Past. Well, anyway, I'm getting off topic. But now, the second fact is, you know, I really should have gotten Mario footage for me saying this. Nintendo hated the Mario movie, and they could have pulled it back, but they didn't. Now, if you know the Mario movie, like a lot of people do, you know how much it sucks. And it was so bad, even Bob Hoskins, the guy who played Mario, stated that it was the worst job he ever did. But Nintendo could have held it back. But they decided not to because they figured it was too much a hassle. So, with that said, yeah, I told you a Mario fact on the Zelda footage. Can't stop me. I'm the one editing the video. Alright, the next one again comes from Sega's end. Sega could have had their own Nintendo 64 kind of console. Let me explain how. Now, Sega of America wanted to use this new chip developed. It was called the SGI chip. And Sega of America wanted to use it for their videos. Not videos, for their game. So the problem with the chip was that, well, Sega of Japan didn't like the chip. They didn't like the idea. And Sega of America did, and it was all mixed. So, in the end, they chose not to use it. And also, in the end, the SGI chip was used for the N64, and we all know what happened then, don't we? It was made to make awesome graphics like this. And when I say awesome, I mean very primitive 3D technology. But it's better than nothing, and it's great. We love it today, and we will for a long time, because it gives you a great sense of nostalgia. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the chip was also used for PlayStation, which is another, thing to add. Because it's interesting to see the N64 and the PlayStation use the same chip to make their graphics. And yet Sega of Japan didn't want it. Look how much it backfired, Sega of Japan. Maybe if you use the chip, maybe you'll have a console today. I don't know if anyone knows this, but the Genesis had way more balance than the SNES did. I mean, there was more blood, and, well, if you like gameplay like that, then, the Genesis was good with that, because, it didn't censor out the blood or anything like that. Look, the Street Fighter 2 is, well, one of the Street Fighter 2s is a good example of that, where you can pretty much there'd be more blood in it, and some people just like that feeling because you feel like you're actually hitting them. While the SNES toned down their versions. That's strange. But while the SNES toned down its violence like drastically, the Genesis didn't. So that makes it a bit more memorable. I believe that's also one of the reasons why the Genesis, was a competitor. One of the reasons. Alright, so you know how you have the Xbox Live and the PSN? This all started with the Sega. Sega actually had a channel where you could play the Sega games. And it was called Sega Channel. And it's quite interesting because, think of how things were back then between competitors. This makes Sega, cooler when you think about it. I mean, like, Sega Channel was like, you could do all kinds of stuff. Construct the Robotics Mean Beam Machine. You could play that. It's like the PSN channel on Xbox Live of the past, and Sega had this. So it's kind of cool just to see, this. All right, here's a. Did you know that Nintendo actually changed Mario's nose in 1990 to make him appear less of an Italian? Or 7, I forgot. Anyway, the fact is, did you know that to prevent piracy, Sega did not include credits at the end of the original Sonic game, but Yuji Naka insisted that they did. So to do it, he put the creators' names on black text on the background at the end of Sonic 1. That way, no one would find out. Sega never found out, but Yuji Naka knew. He's one clever guy, isn't he? Too bad he screwed up Sonic 06 by leaving. Next fact is about Nintendo again. Apparently, there was talks in Minnesota that Nintendo was going to make, a lottery ticket for the NES. When the press found out, they used it to their advantage by making Nintendo seem evil, saying this is how it was also corrupting the children. So in the end, Nintendo ultimately dropped the idea, which is quite a shame. We missed out on lottery tickets on a video game. McDonald's actually made Sonic toys to promote Sonic 3 back in 1994. I don't know. I guess this was to promote the game better so it could beat Nintendo in the console wars. So, there's something you don't see every day. But personally, I think the designs look more like the ones from the Adventures of Sonic. I mean, if you saw Robotnik. So with that said, that was it. Blast processing is really, honestly, just another way of saying it has faster capabilities than the Super NES. That's the whole reason they call it blast processing. So if you ever wanted to wonder what it really is, then there you go. Blast processing is just faster gameplay, which is the whole reason Sonic was famous. So that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it.